What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. Today's video is all about blood crystals, and possibly more importantly than where to find blood crystals is gonna be how to harvest blood crystals. Now, there's obviously a lot of places around the map where you're going to find both the bloodstone rocknose and the bloodstone crystals. Now, I currently have a Discord channel that is cataloging all of those. It's much easier than you guys watching a video to see where those locations are. So I'll put a link to my Discord in the description of this video, and you can get over there and see all the locations that have been cataloged so far. However, in this video, I want to give you the best build to maximize the number of bloodstone crystals you're going to be getting from all the different sources that you can get them from. I'm going to tell you guys about all the different ways to get bloodstone crystals a little bit later on in this video. Jumping into our attributes, it's very important that you go for 2 points in expertise. You're looking for the efficient harvest. Final hit when harvesting grants twice as many resources. Now, just so you know, this is not a location where you can find the bloodstone rocknose. I spawned these in and then admin killed them just to show you that when you are harvesting, the last resource that you get is a bloodstone crystal or a blood crystal. So you want that specific perk so that you're maximizing the number of those crystals that you're getting with that final hit. So in this instance, with 5 of the bloodstone small rocknose, I was able to get 113 blood crystals. But there's more than just that you can do to increase the number of blood crystals that you're getting from these rocknose. And that's going to be adding the oil of bounty to your black blood pick. This actually boosts the number of crystals and all other resources that you're getting when harvesting these bodies. Now, this is very easy on the exiled lands, much harder to get the oil of bounty or the memory of oils on the Isle of Sipta. So if you come across it on the Isle of Sipta, great. If not, you should just be using the black blood pick. And if you're not sure where to get the black blood pick on the exiled lands or the Isle of Sipta, I've got a video that shows you where you can buy it on both of those maps, and I'll link that in the top right hand corner of this video. So let's see how many blood crystals we can get with the oil of bounty. So you remember how many we got without the oil of bounty, and if we use the oil of bounty, we get 153. So that's an additional 40 crystals just by adding the oil of bounty. Now, you do have to remember this has a timer that ticks down while you have it equipped, so definitely unequip it as quickly as possible. Once that timer runs out, you will need to use a legendary weapon repair kit to repair it and reapply the oil. Now, it's pretty likely that the first time you come across blood crystal rocknoses, it's gonna be on accident. Unless you're actively searching for them or you're following a guide, what you can do to actively search for them is do some sorcery. So if we cast sorcery, what we want is the first one there, part the veil and space, past all that stuff. The first one on the left is what you want, and then the one on the right, which is going to be the resource detector. That's going to actually show you under the map where these bloodstone crystal monsters are. You can see it right there. It's highlighted in red. And as you run over it, it's going to pop up out of the ground just like that. The location that I'm at right now is right here on the map. It's very close to Noob River. Nunu the Cannibal is right up here. That's where you're going to learn Yogg. But that is one way that you can run around and look for these bloodstone rocknose. The nice thing about the Detect Resources spell is that it actually doesn't require you to have anything in your inventory. So you don't need a cloth pouch anymore, and you don't need any corruption. That is one of the spells that no longer has any cost associated to it. It is still going to give you corruption, so keep that in mind, but this is the intended way for you to find these bloodstone rocknose. And if you're set up like I am, you should be able to get your first 30, or at least close to it, out of one rocknose. So there you can see we got 22 that time. There have been times where I've come up here, killed that one guy, and got over 30 bloodstone crystals from him. Another way to get a lot of bloodstone crystals is to partake in the new dungeon. I think really it shouldn't be called a dungeon, it should be called more of an instance, but I'll get into the nitty-gritty on that in a future video where I cover this particular dungeon. So on the map right up here at Mech Camosis' Spire, that's where you're going to get into this dungeon. And you do need 30 blood crystals in order to partake in the dungeon. Let's go ahead and change that to that. And you can see it costs 30 blood crystals to go in there. Now, if you're playing on a server and somebody else has engaged in the dungeon recently, you may get a message that says you're not allowed to use this at this time. That means the dungeon is being reset. From my understanding, it's about a 20-minute long timer from the beginning to the end. So within 20 minutes, you should be able to restart that dungeon and go in. And again, I do recommend going in here with the build that I told you about, the 2 points in expertise with efficient harvest and the black blood pick with the oil of bounty applied. Now, I've seen a lot of videos that say this is an infinite loop. It's not really an infinite loop. This is just a farming technique where you're going to get a lot of bloodstone crystals, but there's a lot at risk when you go in here, as this dungeon is actually a pass or fail dungeon. If you die in this dungeon, you do get booted out and you cannot return until it's reset. You do, however, keep all of your inventory, so you don't have to worry about losing your gear in this dungeon. The last way to get bloodstone crystals that I want to tell you about today is actually your own guardians. Now, it's very likely that if you are partaking in headhunting still, you're going to find a lot of golem parts, and likely that you're going to put your first golem together without even needing blood crystals to do so. However, your guardian golems, the followers that you have, do not regenerate health. So it's likely that at some point you are going to lose your golem follower. And I'm just going to admin kill this guy so that you can see he drops on the ground. You'll be able to loot anything that's in his inventory. But in addition to that, you can also harvest him just like that in order to get blood crystals back. And you can see I got 42 blood crystals back from that stone golem. And the stone golem is actually the infinite loot source for the blood crystals if you're crafting them. It requires 30 blood crystals for you to craft them, and I'm reaping over 30 every single time I harvest one of these guys. You do not want to walk up to them and press break bond. If you do that, they will just disappear and you will not be able to harvest anything from them. The iron golem and the crystalline golem don't give you as much as it would cost to craft them. So this is the amount of resources I got from the iron golem when harvesting him with this build, and I only got 47 blood crystals from him. But it takes over 100 blood crystals to craft an iron golem, so I don't recommend crafting them in order to create this loop. Additionally, you cannot craft the crystalline golem parts, so even though I was able to get 101 blood crystals when I harvested the crystalline one, it's still not a great resource because you can't recraft him for less blood crystals. But it's very easy to get the golem parts in the game, so just go around and hunt the sorcerers, get their skulls, and many of them will drop 1 to 2 golem parts every time you kill them. So as you are headhunting and engaging in that interaction from chapter 2, you have the added resource of the golem parts. Additionally, if you're dungeon diving, you'll find quite a bit of these parts in both chests and on enemy bosses that you defeat. So just grab those golem parts, bring them back to your assembly station. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could craft these guys. Each one of their parts costs 5 blood crystals. So in total, you'll be spending 30 blood crystals to craft a stone golem. And then when they die, they're going to give you more blood crystals than that 30 that it costs to craft. So that is actually an infinite loop. The last thing that I want to mention here is my server settings. So if we go into settings, server, and then harvesting, you can see that my rate is set to 1.0. That is a PvE rate. If you're on PvEC, this is going to be 2.0, and if you're on PvP, this is going to be 4.0. So you're just going to get more resources than what I showed you in this video. Additionally, in PvP, you could damage your own followers and kill them that way, so you would have an infinite loop in PvP, damaging them and then reaping the benefits of harvesting them at a higher rate than what it costs you to actually craft them. And that's all I have for this video, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, what questions do you still have about the Age of Sorcery Chapter 3 update? I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.